Welcome everyone to July virtual meetup at ANZ D365 FinOps team. This user group is focused on knowledge sharing in Dynamics 365 and Power Platform space. Just a disclaimer before we move forward that views expressed in these sessions are represented from the speakers based on their personal experiences, and they do not represent the views of Microsoft or their employers. For these sessions, we use Microsoft Contoso demo database. Any recommendations coming out of these sessions should not be applied directly to production environment and should be tested in a non-production environment. The session is recorded and will be uploaded on our YouTube channel and will be available for public viewing. So if you do not consent to be part of a recorded session, then now is a good time to disconnect. Cool. Let's move forward. I'll start with a very brief group introduction. We launched this user group in 2020 with a view to create a platform for Dynamics 365 and Power Platform professionals in ANZ region to connect, collaborate, share, and grow together. We have been conducting a lot of in-person meetups, virtual meetups, webinars, and hackathons. And as a part of that, we have received good support from the wider ANZ community. So thanks everyone who has ever attended our virtual sessions, in-person sessions, presented in our sessions, and supported us to grow. Today, we have around 200 WhatsApp members who are a representation of local community. We are present on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Meetup, and you can see the stats. We are sharing some of the clips from our in-person meetups from the past. This group is driven by group volunteers. As you can see on the screen, there are 6 volunteers, myself, Rachit, Faisal, Amar, Zishan, Vishal, and Kamar. We all are working hard behind the scenes to keep driving this group. So just want to thank everyone who has supported us. Last but not the least, a big thank you to our sponsors who have given us platforms and logistics to organize these sessions, especially with in-person events. It takes a lot to organize and run the event. So thank you to all our sponsors. So today we have Subhaashish, who is also a Microsoft Most Valuable Professional in the ERP space. Subhaashish is joining us from India. He is working as Associate Director at PwC. And today he will be talking about how to paraphrase Copilot Studio with X++. So very excited to look and see the session, Subhaashish. I will hand it over to you now and feel free to share your screen. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachit. Thanks all everyone. Like it's quite early out here in India, so thanks for coming. And those who are, in the western coast of USA, it's still time for them. So thanks for everyone for joining. And yeah, let me share my screen quickly. And okay, just let me know once you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so primarily this discussion is going to be based around what's what's new with Copilot Studio's new experience. It's amazing. There are a lot of new features that have been added, which you can leverage very easily as compared to the older version, which is also known as the classical version. So there are a lot of changes to the structure, the orchestration, the way in Microsoft Copilot Studio is interacting with the users, understands users' inputs. It's everything has changed drastically, and this discussion is going to be revolving a lot around that. Plus, we are also going to start with an amazing new feature, which is gliding your X++ code with Copilot Studio, so that you can it's just not normal CRUD operation, but also you can bring business to your Copilot Studio's instructions, to your agentic instructions, or your flows interactions, making your business data come alive with your users' inputs. So this is what. Just a moment, allow me to go to the next screen. Okay. So this is what we are going to cover on a nutshell. So introduction, I'm just going to give you introduction of what is happening. creating X++ plugins. So this is most important part, and which we are going to cover also. And if time permits, I will show you there is, a context-specific MCP tool is getting introduced in X++ Visual Studio itself, whereby it can understand, it has the knowledge, it's the ability to understand and interact with whatever X++ syntaxes you are going to give, and automatically reduce your manual efforts to a lot extents. I'll also show you how you can you can call the plugins from Copilot Studio and pass values as parameters. There is an amazing feature which has been in the air, but now it's now also part of Copilot Studio also. It's known as the RFI, the request for information. It's an amazing feature, as you would see, like how you can pause the execution and wait for the human's intervention, and you know carry on with your business execution any further. As I said, like, we are also going to include a lot of discussions on the new Copilot Studio experience, which is known as a new experience. And I'll also show like flow changes, how the flow has changed in with the new experience. Uh, I will give you a few examples which you can take it and try to implement on your own business. Then after that, I'll just leave the floor open to question and answers. With that, this is all about myself. Myself Subhaashish, and you can call me Subs. And I am a Microsoft AI MVP, and I've been working for almost 18 years into this technology. Uh, you can find my LinkedIn profile out here, and this is my blog, my YouTube blog. I try to work with Rachit and other MVPs, and also with Microsoft, and try to pour in whatever new changes are coming into the industry from Microsoft's parlances. So feel free to like and subscribe to my channel. So with that, just it's going to be a couple of slides, which is going to be very boring. I understand it's because more of theory. So this is basically how the Dataverse, Microsoft Dynamics and Dataverse are interacting with Copilot Studio, whereby you can create your own classes, custom API classes, and expose them to Dataverse and then to Copilot Studio as tools. And then you can pass on your uh, business inputs as parameters to these tools to process them. So first of all, like, you have to create certain classes, then you have to create the privileges for these classes. I mean, roles and privileges for these classes. Once that is done, you need to pass on as as solutions enabled copilots, I mean, enabled custom API and custom API parameters. And finally, you can create tools based out of that. So I will give some example cases how you can do that. And that is one thing that actually I'm trying to emphasize on. This is what I was talking about. This is another very important feature which has been introduced in Copilot Studio as a tool, which I will basically walk you through. And this is what is happening. Say, for example, you are in the process of your business. If you're in the process of your flow, and the midst of the execution, your agent suddenly felt that whatever the instructions that have been given to it is not sufficient. It needs more and more intervention or inputs from the end user. So for all such cases, you can make use of RFIs, that is request for information, and you can pass that RFI as a tool to your agent or on your agentic flows, and grab the details that the users are specifying and come back to your flow or come back to your agent and resume the business from there, resume the execution from there. So when you are walking with it, so there are certain steps which I will show you. So, and there are certain known limitations also, which I would like to show you using RFI as a tool in Copilot Studio as compared to RFI in agentic flows, how you can leverage that with prompts, engineering prompts, and Copilot Studio, responses. I will show you that. So this is the new experience of Copilot Studio, which I would say, like, there are several layers of new changes that have been introduced. There are reusable skills, advanced orchestration, natural language authoring and processing, and enterprise data access. So it's all in all a havoc change, a paradigm shift, I would rather say, in the entire architecture pattern. So this is still, in a preview mode, although you can use it for your own understanding. It might not be production ready right away, but it's available for your own understanding, and you can do a lot of exercises on your own. So first example, you would see the classical experience of Copilot Studio was used to be like something like if you have created a tool, you have to manually or explicitly mention it. So these are the tools that are used in the agentic instruction. You refer to this tool to interpret the meaning of it. You refer to that tool to pass on the parameter that you are getting from the user. But here, you don't need to mention that tool at all. You just mention that, I mean, you don't need to refer the tool at all. You just mention the tool, you grab this tool and go ahead with it. I will show you, maybe that will make more sense. So that is an amazing, change, which I'd rather say. Then the change in architecture altogether. The flow, if you'd see, the agentic flow is a very complex business. If you're having a very complex business and the business is having branches, sub branches, nested branches, a lot of things you can cater to the requirement just by, making your agent listen to it, agent, cater to it. You can do that. So the first thing that comes to the mind is, if you see this, the change in the structure of the flow used to be like from in a vertical fashion. If you remember the classical flow, like, step one, node two, step one, step two, step three, like that. But here it's not the case. It's basically all horizontal. So you would see there are a lot of other features which have been introduced. There are version enabled. So at a given point of time, if you see like certain version is not working as expected, you can revert to the previous version. You can compare to the current version to the previous version. Plus, there are a lot of changes to the structure, which I would underline here. So with all these things, let me jump to demo. Okay. All right. I'm just sharing my screen once again. Please pause me and ask questions if you have any, because I might not be able to see the screen. Okay, and here is my agent, which I am sharing my screen. One moment. All right. Yeah. So let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Hey, thank you. Okay, so here is a very, very simple, I would say a very simple agent which I have created for the demo purpose. It's called Parchman. Okay, so here are clutter of tools that have been added. First of all is the Dynamics 365 ERP MCP, which you are now very much conversant with it. There, apart from that, Work IQ Copilot and Work IQ User, these are also added. I have added them for a reason. I will tell why. Then I have added this request for information, which I will cover in a moment. Most importantly are these three tools. You see, purchase order confirmation, purchase order workflow submit, purchase order receipt. I purposely have not kept purchase order invoice because I would request you to implement this and let me know how it goes. So purchase order receipt, and show you what are all these tools are having on the backend. But before that, I will show you like how it actually works. So if I go to overview and all the way down, so you'd see there are instructions that I've given, specific instructions like, you are an agent who specializes in handling purchase orders. Ensure to format the responses in such a way that they are email compatible, because otherwise what agent does is that it's a very cumbersome responses it sometimes generates, which if we present it, it might not look seaworthy. So that's why it's email compatible. I've kept it. and also there is a reason which I'm also going to cover in a moment. You ask the user to create the purchase order details, like whatever purchase order the user wants to give, you give it, and you create the purchase order, check for all the mandatory fields, and create the order. Repeatedly ask the user if they wish to add more lines, else go to step 2. So if the purchase order is already in an approved condition, so say for example, if your purchase order, if you go to procurement and sourcing, and if you turn on your uh, parameters for approvals off, so then there is no point in keeping this step. I mean, then only this, I mean, sorry, this step only then comes into picture. But if your change management, if it is this, if it is enabled, then there is no point in executing this step. So that's why it's saying that if it is already approved, then go to step 4. Else you execute the step 3, which is approving the purchase order. So the first of all, the purchase order gets created, then is approved, then is confirmed, and then is packing slip. So all the while you are doing is that you go to your edit and you can simply use this slash, and you can add your your all your tools right away. Okay, you can add as many number of tools you want just by adding this slash. So I'm just removing it. So once these are all done, and I'm discarding it too, all these are all, when these are all done, you receive the parameters and you keep on processing it. So if you see in the tools, if I go back to the tools, for example, any given tool are having certain sets of parameters. Say, for example, if I go to purchase order receipts, so you see there is the, there are the purchase ID and the packing slip ID. These are the parameters that it is accepting. How are these getting generated? I will show you. But before that, let me show you how is this, how is this functioning, first of all. So let me copy this guy quickly. No, these tools are not available out of the box. Okay, so I don't think it got copied. Okay. Okay. So I'm just asking, can you create a purchase order with these details? And let's see what happens. So it is going back to the tools and finding out the perfect tools that are available. And it is going to create the purchase order for you by using the default out of the box ERP MCP server. So to answer Debashish, your question, like, no, it's these tools are not available out of the box. I have created them. I will walk you through it so that you can also create them. Okay. Okay, no, these tools won't be created with the prompts alone. I will show you how to create them. These are created by using X++ only. Allow me a moment. I will show you what is happening. And the purchase order got created. The line was created successfully too. So it's saying like these are the details. We want to add more lines. I say no, please confirm. Like that I'm saying. So it's going to check like if it is needed for any approvals, submissions or not. If not, then it will go for confirmation. So it's going to check that. So it's already approved because I purposely have kept the change management as enabled so as to avoid this step and get into this step of confirmation. So it is confirming. The confirmation also got successful. So it's saying you want to go for the receipt of the purchase order. So if yes, then provide the packing slip ID. Yes, the packing slip ID is equal to PK. I'm giving any number, any packing slip number like this, and I'm hitting enter. So it's going to grab the record tool in which, in our case, it's basically pure receipt, and it's going to do the receipt for the purchase order. So this also got successful and everything is completed. So the entire procurement cycle is completed successfully and the creation all the way through the receipt. So you see, it is all automated. Everything, like if you remember, like the ERP MCP server tool can create your purchase order, can maybe it can do a lot of, it can add lines also, it can change a purchase orders, some details also. I want to change the location dimension, I want to change the business dimension like that, it can also change that. But you might not be able to packing slip a purchase order. You might not be able to invoice a purchase order. So using the tools, it can help you. Now, how this is done, I will unshare my screen and take you to another computer where I have kept my code. Okay. Okay. I think I got, okay. I got out of the other meeting. Just a moment. I'm just logging 1 second. Allow me a second. In the meanwhile, you can ask questions, friends.
Yep. So there are a few questions around uh, how to create these plugins and
Mhm.
how to
Okay.
track the credits consumed. And there is a question from Farida on, can we achieve similar things using Cowork Frontier with MCP enabled? So we
Got it.
can take one by one whenever you want to start that.
Sure, Rajit. Sure. Thanks, team. Yeah, please stay tuned. I'm answering that. So, okay. First of all, here is the code for the same. So it's very simple code, I would say. So if you go to the Solution Explorer, you see this classes which I have created 3 classes, like if for the confirmation, for receipt, and for packing slip. Very simple classes. You have done that 1 million times in the past. So I'm going to the purchase order confirmation. You see, the most important part is you have to extend, or I mean rather implement, not extend, implement iCustom API interface. Very important. So this is where it understands that it is going to interact with the Copilot Studio and with these decorations, with these signature decorations, that is the data contract, custom API, AI plugin, operation attribute, all these things. So when you say that and you give a description like what is this API is actually doing, okay, the name of the API is this and what is this doing? Okay, if you give this, then all the way down you define your data members. Okay, your data members are in this case are what? Purchase ID. You are going to confirm this purchase order, right? So you are just passing that on. The rest of the code is very simple. It is grabbing the parts table and then is doing some checks. Like if the document is already in an approved condition, it should not approved, it should not be approved. This is why if you remember, like in the step number 2, it is checking. Like if it is already approved, go to the next step. Don't be in this step. That is the reason why this check has been performed. And purge form letter is this purge form letter is purge form letter, what it is, what it can do, and then it is going to update post the confirmation. Don't worry about the best practice checks. It's a code written in a hurry, so that's why I've not taken care of the best practices and obviously the XML documentation, so pardon me for that. But otherwise, this is the net code structure, class structure that you need to follow. Okay, you see these are the this is the class for confirmation, I mean approval of the purchase order by workflow. And then this is similarly for receipt, also the same thing. In receipt, as you understand, like we have to pass on both the packing slip ID and the purchase order. You also, as you know, you can also partially confirm, I mean partially receive a packing slip, that also a quantity you can also pass on. So then I am just in the run, I'm just doing what? I'm just passing on this in the update method and updating the purchase table and getting the packing slip done. And this is the packing slip ID which I'm getting from the user. And as you rightly understand, this is also implementing iCustom API, and it is basically this implementing these plugins and these data contracts. So with that, the last one is a similar in fashion, that is submission from Copilot. This is also okay. Sorry, this is from submission to the Copilot. Okay, so my apologies. The first one was for confirmation. This one is for the submission to workflow. So submission is basically, as you can understand, submits the purchase order for workflow processing, and it is just going to do the document state is equals to not equals to approved. Then it is going to submit to the workflow. So this is what it is. Net, that's what it is doing. So three classes. One is for the submission to workflow, another is for the packing slip, and another is for the confirmation. So three classes are doing respectively these three activities. So I have created three menu items. As you can see, these three menu items are corresponding to these three classes. Sorry, these three classes, and there are security roles and privileges also created along with. So you have to keep in mind one thing: when you are creating the class, the name of the class must match with the menu item action that you are creating. If you don't, it won't be able to trigger the correct class. If the class name is different and your menu item actions name is different, then it won't be able to trigger the correct class for that. Once you have done that, you are once you have done that, all you need to do is to build, do a build and sync and deploy. I'm using, by the way, this is only available by using your UDE, not by using your CHEs, because CHEs don't have this, this ability, and you can just get this deployed through your tools. Okay, sorry, extensions, Dynamics 365, extensions, Dynamics 365, deploy to online environment. So I'm not deploying once again because I've already deployed that. So once this is deployed, don't forget to do a sync once you have deployed, because if you have, suppose you have created a new table, you have created a new entity, data entity, you have created a new view, a lot of issues are coming on UDEs if you just deploy it. You have to sync also. Once you have deployed, you have to sync also explicitly. Once this is done, I'm going back to my solutions. So here is a solution which I have created known as Parchman Copilot solution. You can also create a new solution of your own. Say for example, I can create any solution, test solution. Okay. Okay. Once again, my keyboard misbehaves a lot of times. Then you can create a publisher, or you can create a new publisher also. So you see, you can create a new publisher. So I prefer to create a new publisher. The reason is, when you create a new publisher, you can create your own prefix, your own prefix. Okay. And you can maintain your solutions on that publisher. You can do a lot of manipulations, lot of preferences with your own publisher activities. Okay. So I have created this solution called Parchman Copilot solution. Let me take you to my notepad. So the prefix in our case was CR666, and this is the the prefix that I have used for my publisher. Next is, if I click on Parchman Copilot solution, you'd see inside this all the artifacts that are related to this this tool is available. You click on this object hierarchy tree, so you'd be able to see the object hierarchies. Uh, it takes a while to get loaded. So yeah, so these are all the objects. And first of all, you need to create the custom APIs that you are going to use in your Copilot, and also the API request parameters. If it is inbound request, say for example, you're passing on a request, and you can also define the outbound request parameters simply by going to new, more, okay, and then others. You go all the way down to custom API response property. You can mention that, and you can define your responses. Like suppose any tool execution is responding the quantity that is available for this given warehouse and location, and for an item, or you are returning the customer balance for a customer for a given financial year. So all such cases, you can use custom API response property, any response. Okay, so that is one thing. So custom APIs, you see, I have created three custom APIs, obviously, one for the confirmation, one for submission, and another for packing slip. So you see here, if you click the confirm a given purchase order, it's very simple. Okay. Oh my God. Allow me a second. Allow me a second and let me click on this once again. Done. And closing this. Sign in. Yeah, you'd see the details of the custom API. So what is this doing? I'll show you. So it takes a while to get loaded. In the meanwhile, you can ask questions. Also, I will respond to them in a while. So the name of the the tool is this, which is equal to the name of the menu item, action menu item that you created. You give the name like this. Then ideally, by best practice, the display name should equal to the class. If you remember, if you go back to the class, whatever description that you have given, name and description that you have given, that should corresponding to this name. Okay, ideally. So can, the display name is this, confirm a purchase order, and description is this. You also fetch up, just copy and paste from your class here. And all the way down to here, let me see, like, yeah, this is global. And lastly, the plugin type must be equals to this. This is very important. If you don't do this, your Copilot trigger might not get called at all. What is this? This is, this Microsoft Dynamics FNO Copilot plugins invoke FNO custom API. So if you have to mention the plugin type right here like this. Once you have specified all these things, you need to save and close. I'm not saving and closing once again because already this is done. I am closing this. So like that, I have done for all the 3 custom APIs. What I do is that I create the custom API first, and then I create the request corresponding to the custom API. It becomes easy, but choice is yours. Like you can also create all the APIs, then the request and response properties. Okay, so here are the request properties. Say for example, you can create new, more, other, and all the way down to custom API. Once again, where's my friend? Yeah, custom API request parameter here. In this case, I am doing what? I have to select for the custom API that I'm going to use. Say, for example, I can select from here, recently used. It's going to suggest like that. Or otherwise, I can look up by selecting on new also. I can also do that. Okay. So then I have to provide a name. Ideally, this should equal to the name that you have provided in your data parameters, in your classes parameters that you have specified. Then you specify the type, like it is string, boolean, datetime, float, whatever you want to specify. That's it. It is optional or not. No, it's optional or not optional, that you can also specify. And then you save and close and come out. That's it. Simple. It's done. So like this, you have to repeat for all the response and request parameters for every custom API that you are creating. It's amazing, guys. Once you have done that, you don't need to publish anything. Nothing is needed. Everything is available out of the box. Next is what? Like how you are going to bring them to Copilot Studio. I will show that. There is a trick. There is a trick I will show you. So let me unshare my screen quickly and share it back again. Okay. So, okay. All right. So coming back to my Copilot Studio once again here. So here are the tools that I was showing, the tools that I have created out here. The PO confirmation looks like this. So I can simply add a tool here, add a tool, and I can add, right here from, I can add the tool from here itself. And just a moment, say for example, this PO confirmation tool, for example, if I click on this, you see the details are like this. The tool you are going to select, most importantly, is you have to select the environment where you are doing. By default, the environment is automatically going to taken up if you specify current. Otherwise, you have to specify for each and every different environment. Say, for example, you have UAT, you have, you have pre-production, you have production. So you have to create separate tools for each of them. Don't do that. You just go to your tools and you select current. So automatically you are making the tool understand that you are referring to the current environment where you are logged on to. Say, for example, I am logged on to this environment. So automatically it will take it up. So action name is this. Name of the action is equal to the name of the, the class that you published, the custom API that you published. Okay. And you see all the classes, custom APIs that are available in the solution, across the solution rather, are listed out here. Okay. So from there, you select this and you select the purchase ID, which is automatically, automatically these parameters would come. So you see the purchase ID is this one. And once you have specified your input parameters, go to your completion. This is very important, guys. I think you know about it also. So any tool, when you describe that, if you define that on Dynamics 365 Copilot Studio, you have to mention that in the advanced, you have to mention specific, not all. If you don't mention as specific, but as all, it's going to wait for an infinite time to respond back. So you have to specify only specific, only specific. Okay. Once you have done that, you can also save this. By the way, there is a small feature that you need to turn on. I'm just going there. Allow me a second. Okay, I'm just opening my. Okay, so this is the the environment that I am using, FNO environment that I'm using. I'm just going there, and there is a feature that you have to turn it on. 1 second, it's coming up. I'm going to feature management. Okay, the feature management, I'm simply going here and ensuring that this feature is turned on in the all, inside my all. Okay, and here API. So custom API generation, you have to turn this feature on. Otherwise, what will happen is that, even if you have turned on you have published your Copilot Studio, um, classes, you have created your custom API, you have created your custom API responses, requests, everything, but it won't show, it won't work in your Copilot Studio. So you have to turn this feature on. So once this feature is turned on, your agent is good to go, and you can just publish your changes and you can start leveraging. So I'm taking a pause here. Let me return to your questions, like if you are asking anything.
Anyone wants to unmute and ask the question? There is a question from Farida. Let's discuss that, Subs, if you want to take. So can't we achieve similar things using Copilot Cowork with MCP enabled? What are your views on that?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Farida, that's correct. But Copilot work is, say, for example, I will give you a classical example of using, you are sending your custom workflows, which are not FNO workflows, custom workflows. So suppose I want to do some kind of an, invoicing, but the business wants to go for some kind of an approval before invoicing. So automatically, if I submit the request, it will submit a request on behalf of you. It will go to your hierarchical manager, the next one in the hierarchy. So that person, if they say yes, that will go and go to the next. So co-work is applicable for all such cases. But if you want to do anything like this, say, for example, anything like you want to do a confirmation of your purchase order, or you want to perform a three-way matching of your purchase order, might be your co-work won't be able to help you on such cases. You have to write your custom logic like that.
Yep.
So that is the problem, actually. Okay,
Yes, Farida,
so
feel free to unmute yourself if you are saying something. So your hands was raised. Oh, okay. No, thanks for
No,
that,
I
Subs.
meant to just like
Okay.
the comment. Yeah, thank
but
you.
no worries. Yeah. So yeah, that is what I will show you what is happening. I will show you more examples so that you can relate actually. Allow me to share my screen once again. Okay.
Yeah, go
So
for it.
this was just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many other things which I'd like to show you. Okay. Welcome to the new experience of Microsoft Copilot Studio. So if you go to Copilot Studios, let me open a tab quickly, duplicate tab. It's amazing, guys. I will say, like, in a couple of weeks, it's been launched. You just fall in love with it. It's so beautiful. There are so many differences that can help you in many, many business situations. Okay, just you need to turn on, if you go to home, and you need to turn on your new experience, and you should be able to consume all the new features. Okay. Switching it back, it's going to take you back to the classical experience only. Okay. So I have created a workflow here. Very simple workflow. I will show you here itself. Uh, it's called Parchman in workflow, and it is going to use the same, Copilot Studio agent which I showed you in my workflow. I'm getting inside it. You see, so the new workflow structure, I'm sorry, it's very, very small. I'm increasing the font here itself. Okay. You see, it's completely a paradigm shift in the structure. You see, usually it used to be a top-down kind of a structure, like step 1, step 2, step 3, like that. But now it's left to right. You see, all the components are kept from left and it goes to right like this. And I have done a small change. Okay, I've created a small, very small, example I will bring to you, which is creating. I'm going to mail like this. Let me mail to the flow. Okay, so this is my what? This is my personal account, Outlook account. I'm going to send it to my another account which is having this. Okay, 5. Okay, and I'm saying purchase order creation request. So what it is doing is I'm just going to copy and paste this hi control V. Okay, like this I'm giving. And I'm changing the price. See, the unit price and all, don't worry about that because the price journals are not kept, are not there. That's why it seems like this. I'm just sending this. So automatically this will go and flow in my this account, which is this account in a while, in no time. So what I've done is, you see here, when an email arrives, okay, when an email arrives, you don't worry about this if then else block. Just ignore this for the time being. And come to this variable block. From here, the actual calculation starts. It's a very simple variable. You see, the variables now also could be created many at one time. You see, it used to be in classical experience, if you remember, all the variables used to be created one after the other after the other. It's a very cumbersome developer's experience. But here you can initialize all the variables at one shot. So I've created two variables. One is the sender name, which is the sender name of the mail, and another is the message ID, which I would need on a later time. Once this is done, I am using a classification algorithm here. So this is where the AI is coming to picture. Classification algorithm. It's amazing. You see, guys, I'm saying classify whenever the mail comes, looking at the body of the email, get the content of the email to create. Like if it is purchase order creation, you say that create the content of the email to create the PO from the body of the email. If it is confirmation, do the confirmation of the purchase order. Okay. If it is a packing slip, understand if the mail is asking to do a packing slip of the purchase order. Okay. And if it is doing an invoicing of the purchase order, understand if the mail is asking for the creation of the purchase order. Lastly, very important. Why is this? Do not process. What is this doing? If the subject contains request for approval, don't do anything. Okay, so you see, based on every classification, there are furtherances. There are further downstream activities that you can do. For create purchase order, I'm calling the same agent, Parchman, but this time I'm not writing any instruction, simply passing on the body from the previous step. It's amazing. You see, guys, I am going back here. Just I'm mentioning the purchase order, the context of the purchase order, and it is referring to that agent which I have created, and it is understanding, okay, it is purchase order creation. I don't need to mention also that create the purchase order. It's understanding on its own. Okay, so you see, this purchase order has got created. It's got successfully ordered. Successfully ordered. Now, what I will do is that I will respond to this and I say, can you also confirm this? And I'm sending it. So this will, in a while, also come for this loop called agent for confirmation. So here also the same thing is happening. Get the purchase order number from the body and do a confirmation. Again, I'm referring to the Parchman, and it is, as usual, it is doing the needful of confirming the purchase order. Next is agent for packing slip. Same exercise. I'm getting to the packing slip ID and purchase order from the body and do a packing slip or receipt of the email. Again, I'm referring to the purchman, the same, the same purchman I am agent that I'm talking about. And that's it. It is going to grab it and respond to an email like this email has been successful, this packing slip has been successful, like that. Okay. So you see, this is why I defined the variables, the message ID and the sender name. But yeah, optionally, you can also directly get that from the previous step. That is also possible. If you click on the insert dynamic content, that is also possible. If you go back to the sender, you can get the sender's email ID, message ID, uh, anything. But I have just specifically declared these variables just to demo it to you. Yeah. So you see it has come for the purchase order creation and it is underway. The confirmation is happening and purchase order got confirmed successfully. All right. So it's saying, would you like to receive the purchase order? If so, please provide the packing slip. You see, it's such an amazing feature. Okay, I'm not needing to, okay, can you also receive the packing slip with ID equals to anything? I'm giving PKH something. I'm giving a value like this and I'm hitting send. So you see, I am not creating any specific email in any specific email, nothing. It's just automatically it is understanding the format of the mail. It is arranging the necessarily all the tables, structures, TR, TH, TL, TDL, TLDR, all these things. It is understanding and it is basically creating the mail body and processing it. It's amazing, guys. Okay. So lastly, once the packing slip also is done, it is asking to do an invoicing. As you remember, like I have not created any invoicing activity. So what it's going to do is that it will go for a, it will go for a approval of the invoice. So how the approval is happening? So here I have created a small agent, which is this. This agent is going to grab the value of the, configure. It's going to grab the value of the purchase order ID from the body. We just need the purchase order ID. No, just explanation is needed. Please, I have kept on bold because by default, it comes down with a lot of explanation, which is not needed at all. I just did the purchase order response. Then I am including a human review. So this is where the RFI, the request for information, is coming into picture, which I was talking about. Okay, so here you see, can you review the review and confirm invoice for the agent response from the previous step? You see, it is understanding that the previous steps is purchase order ID that has got generated, and all I need to do is that I am getting the agent response for that, and I have created two input variables, the response and comment. So I think it has come to me for, okay, it has not come yet. Oh, no worries, it will take a while. Okay, yeah. So response and comment. Please select yes or no, and comment, please enter your input while you are confirming. Then agent for step confirmation. This is where I'm also getting this is very interesting. You see, I'm getting the response value from the previous step. Response is yes or no. And also don't forget to include the comment user has provided. Do not include or generate, sorry for the typo, but it has understood. So in any additional explanation to the response. Okay, so once this is done, it goes to the mailer saying that your approval has come or your rejection has got rejected, like that. Okay, so I can also include the Microsoft IQ, which is what I was talking about, Farida, if you remember. Like, it can go to the immediate next level approver. I mean to say, the next level approver for approving it just without, I mean, next in the hierarchy, it can go there if you enable this Microsoft IQ. All right. So this is the net what is happening. Last but not the least, there is also a do not process. Why is this even included? Before that, let me take you to the activity tab here. So the activity tab, you see, all these are the different activities that has been running since its inception, since its creation. You see this, if you click on any given activity, it will show you which path it has taken. So it has gone for packing slip, agent for packing slip, and once the packing slip is done, it will send the response to this email that your packing slip is done. So this is how it is classifying and taking up the necessary path and sending it back to the sender. So that is one thing. Now, I'm taking you back to do not process. Why is this even needed? This is tricky. So this is needed because you will see, like, you will also get another mail immediately. No reply, or get confirmation, like that. So I'm saying in the classify, okay, it has got successfully processed. Cool. Let me answer to that. Can you do invoicing? Let me say that. Can you do an invoice for the same? I'm just invoicing it, and it's going to take a while to get invoiced. I mean, it is going to come in this loop, invoicing of the purchase order, and it's going to go for the human in the loop request for human intervention. And okay, so the moment the request for human intervention, this mail comes, you see, purchase order creation. Okay, all right. Yeah, the moment the request for information, this mail comes, this classification algorithm is again going to get activated. Okay, so can you confirm this mail will come? Can you confirm the purchase order confirmation for this, for the invoicing? Can you confirm? The moment it understands or sees the word confirm, again, this second switch case will get triggered, which is not intended. Okay, so that is why in the classification, I'm saying if the subject contains request for approval, such kind of requests, if you see that, do not process. That's why you see there is no downstream anywhere, anything is going. There is nothing after this. Okay, so you see it has come here. Let me quickly approve this guy. Yes. Sounds good. I'm just submitting it. You see, automatically I'm submitting it. And the moment I submit, it will come back to me saying your invoicing is in place, and we can write for the logic to do the invoicing. Okay, but you see, if you go to activity, you see that one more, this thing has got triggered. One more, time it has got triggered. You see, sounds good. Congratulations, your this thing has got invoiced successfully. Okay. See, all these things are coming automatically. You see, I'm not writing anything. The Copilot is sensing the format, formally, everything, and doing everything on it on your behalf. Okay. So in no time it failed to get into it fell into this, and the subsequent execution got halted. You see, the do not process, because it came as, you see, do not process. This got highlighted, which means I am not, I don't need it to process anything any further. Okay. And if none of the cases are satisfied, you don't do anything. Reply a mail to the sender, sending that, dear sender, we're unable to resolve your query. Like that. It's very simple. Okay. Since saying that, I'd like to take a pause here and like to know from you, learn from you, like what you felt about the structure together, how you felt. Yes, Rachit, that is
Definitely
correct.
enlightened. Yeah,
Sure.
I'm definitely enlightened. Anyone wants to unmute and um, give any feedback to Subhaashish or have any questions for him?
Now there is something even more interesting. I will show you what is that. You are going to love it. All right. So this
The
is
part.
known as, yeah, I'm sharing my screen. This is, I've created a very, very mundane looking agent called Task Manager, which is going to just refer to your Dynamics 365 tools, ERP, MCP server, okay, and going to create the customer for you. Now this new process is also in place called deep link, which was not there. So the moment you're creating you're just not creating. Suppose you are finding, you are searching for something, searching for some results, is going to create the result and a deep link and going to present it to you. But that's not the point. Point is, you see, in this version, this is the older classical version of Copilot Studio, where I created the tools. Okay, let me take you the overview and instructions. You see, I created the tools and I specifically have to mention the tools. You see, this tool, this tool, this tool, all these tools I have to mention specifically. But here with the classical experience, with the new experience, the new experience, I just need to mention using this tool. That's it. I don't need to specify that anything. Just I'm mentioning that. Just mentioning. Okay. Then if I just run it, it will generate the link for you. Say, for example, I am taking you to this chat, the Porchman chat. Oh, sorry, not Porchman. Let me add this Cust Manager as a tool here. One moment. I'm clicking on this and Cust Manager. So I'm saying, can you create a customer called James, anything, James Bond, anything, with group equals to 20 for USMF legal entity. Okay, so it's gonna take a few moments to generate the customer, and also it's going to create the deep link for you. So this is a new feature and which was not there so long, and it has come. Allow it a couple of moments to get generated. One thing I missed, sorry to tell you, one thing I missed. So this flow has another ability. If I close the sky quickly, you see there are review issues. If your flow is having issues, you can review that. Another feature is if you go to the version history, you see these are the different versions that I've saved, so long, and you can simply go here and you can preview, you can restore, and you compare to the current. This is amazing, guys. Like this is, you can compare with your current version of the view. And if you are not satisfied with the current version, you can revert to the previous view. This is new addition to this feature. All right, I think the Cust Manager has responded. You see this is the deep link that has got generated. Okay, so that is more or less like these are the things. Okay, by the way, if you go to prompts, Copilot Studio prompts, and if you try to create an agent, I mean, try to add a prompt here. Say, for example, let me send this prompts. So the prompts are not available right now. Not available. The prompts are known as agents. So that is why you see I have created agents here. I've kept on adding agents here. I've not created any prompt. If you remember, the classical experience was you can add prompts. You say like, can you grab the JSON response and you fetch out this value like that. But here you need to do the same exercise by using an agent. Just not that, I'll show you another amazing feature. You can test a particular feature. Yesterday, I was not able to, figure out some issue continuously. There was an error that was coming. So what I did was that I clicked on this. It will take you to this test module, and you can select from an already executed version and get this tested, like if it is working perfectly or not. So it's going to take a while to get your test be ignited, and allow it a couple of moments. In the meanwhile, I think Devashish, you have asked something. 1 second. Can it create a record, save it, and create sublink record for that customer? Yes, sir. It can. It can very much. It can do that. Okay. So response is, you see, like this is the response. Okay. So test, you can create a local copy of your test also. Okay. That's it. And I don't think we have time left. So I'd like to conclude this. But let me know, like, if you have any questions, we can wait for a couple of more moments if you allow.
Yeah, yeah. So definitely, first of all, thanks a lot, Subhaashish, for delivering such an excellent session. It was a, genuinely a deep dive into these topics. It's very rare to see such level of depth in the sessions. And I'm sure, people will, it will unbox the thought process and we will solve more scenarios for our customers using this approach. But yeah, anyone has any feedback or question for Subs, then please feel free to unmute yourself. Cool. I think we are good then. We will be publishing the recording soon on our YouTube channel and stay, follow our LinkedIn handle to keep to get the notification and have a great day, Subs, and
Have a
thanks
great
for
day,
doing this
guys.
session for
Thank
us.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.